Hey everyone, how's it going? Shuffle's back here with another video, and today we have the final of our buff test videos. We already did the LQC video, we did the Landy video, and this one is going to be for Sage Ball. I have 3 fights to show you guys. A couple of them are quite quick, but I think they're all quite impressive showcases of what he is capable of doing. So let me just jump right on over into his stats, and then what we're going to do is I'll show you his stats first, and then I will show you the gameplay. All right, so here's his stats. Normally he is on a level 27 Proof of Valor, but I stole that for our Landy testing. I would switch it back, but long story short, I have no gold. So, as you can see, basically it ends up giving him, I think, another 360 HP. So, normally, and in the first 2 of the 3 clips, he has a little over 19k HP with about 1300 defense. He is only 240 speed, so nothing crazy, and only 81 effectiveness, so nothing crazy there either. His right side is, or well, he is I-90 on all his speed gear. His immunity gear is not I-90 yet. We'll do a quick run through. Speed, HP, effectiveness, speed, HP, defense, speed, HP, effectiveness. Ignore the res. This would be a great piece on somebody else maybe for the res, but I don't need it elsewhere, so I'm using it on him. The boots are speed boots, and they have speed, HP, defense, so I definitely want 2 I-90s. I just don't have the mats right now. Then HP with speed, defense, and effectiveness. And this is a weird one. Flat HP with a good HP percent and speed. I don't need the crit rate or crit damage. I'm going to show you something really quick because I know a lot of people wonder who flat HP is good on, who it isn't. In this case, I was just looking for speed and HP. So if we find an HP percent piece, even though flat HP might not be optimal on him, this one is the opposite, right? It's basically speed with HP percent and flat HP. It's only 100 more HP. If we used a piece that didn't have flat HP, like this one for example, he actually loses HP. So this flat HP one that we currently have on, because it has a big HP percent sub, is actually better. So that's why I decided to go ahead and I-90 it, even though it isn't the nicest piece. It gives him the stats that I need in order to pull it off. So if somebody asks, like, what should I run on the right hand side, and you say HP percent, that's true, but it can be more optimal to run flat HP if you happen to have the right piece. But yeah, that's a different video for a different day. Let's jump right on over into the clips. All right, so this is gonna be our first clip. You can see we're currently ranked 97. This is really early, right after it's like 4 days ago, so relatively soon after RTA reopened again. So we are like ranked 97 in the world at this point, but we're still only master. So we're facing a bunch of people who are still doing placements and stuff like that. But still, I thought this was a good fight, a good example of kind of what he's capable of. Even though we're up against somebody in gold, you can see he's got a nice little frame there. He did relatively well last season. He did pre-ban the Flitica, so I led with Valencia, which is something I normally do. But then you can tell he kind of wants to go hard and fast here early in the preseason. He's going with Rin and Vivian. So I go with my standard counter cleave with the double Cecilia. He comes in with the Euphine and then the Cedome. So really interesting cleave setup here. Something that you don't see very often from the guy on the right here, Neo Barnes. So at this point, I'm kind of trying to figure out what I want to do moving forward. I have a pretty good idea. I want to use Sage because we do get the FCC here. So I do take him early. I am a little, normally I would bring Maid here. I'm a little worried that he has some crowd control here with the Rin. I do know I can ban the Rin, but I'm trying to figure out what he's going to take last. I end up going with the Maid anyway. And seems to have a pretty good idea of what he's going to do. He does sort of jump ship here with the Ruel, though, which is like, That's a great sign for me. That means that he thinks he's going to lose here, and that's why he took Ruel. So you can tell right away, even though this fight was 4 days ago, the first thing I was thinking was let's get rid of that strip because you don't want him to go strip stun and be able to control your Sage. So we do ban the strip in the Rin. He bans the immunity in the Cecilia. That also bans our Aureus, though, which means we have Adamant and Proof, that which don't really stack. Um, it's strange. Most people don't ban the Aureus holder there in the Fire Cecilia. Most people ban the FCC. But I guess because um, he doesn't want to get provoked or doesn't and stripped. Because I do have that strip provoke, right? So he buffs up. Now my Sage cuts, and I have a decision to make whether I want to skill 1 or try and strip. He has a cleanse coming up next with the Euphine, so I decided to just burn it. I'm not burn as in use souls, but just to not use any skills, which kind of is unfortunate here. The Euphine was a good play, prevented me from going skill 2 into sleep, which kind of nullified my Sage skills there. So he goes ahead, he does use his cleanse plus his buff, which gives him the boost into the Cedom. Cedom buffs up, now has attack buff, and can burn. He decides to go into my Lencia, which is something that doesn't happen very often, but because there's no Aureus, he's able to delete my Lencia. And now it's finally my turn, with his Vivian coming up, though. So if I revive and I don't get next turn, I'm in huge trouble here. So this is a bit of a gamble, because if I don't get this turn, I can't strip. Luckily for me, I do get next turn. I cut his Vivian. I can strip that greater attack off, which is enormous. So we get rid of the buffs on her, and of course the Cedom. He's able to still burn till 2 though without attack buff. And unfortunately for us, he's still able to get the kill. He gets a second turn with another set of crits. Luckily the Cedom didn't quite cut, so we're gonna pop off our skill 3 here, put up skill prevent. Because Cedom is coming up next, even though she doesn't have any buffs. And we are able to kill her, which is nice. We do have to remember, though, that she is high on the attack bar list there. So when Ruel revives, Cedom will automatically be going into a turn. I decided to go with my strip sleep. I unfortunately don't land on the Euphine or the Ruel, but we do get the Vivian. And then she comes back with the double stun on skill 1, which is kind of debilitating here. Our maid Chloe goes with the skill 1 into the Vivian. I really want to kill her to make him choose on his revive, but we can't quite get her out of the way. And looks like we're in big trouble here. So instead of reviving, he decides to heal up the Euphine, which is kind of a weird decision here. I think he thinks that he can solo with her. He goes back with the skill 2, doesn't really do much here. Did decent damage, but we basically counter that right away with the maid turn. And now we can use our skill 3. We're going to go a little bit risky, but we're going to go into the Ruel here since he never used his revive. And here's the damage you want to see. We pop the Ruel for 10k, plus we silence the other 2 and full heal. We then kill with the Sage, or sorry, with the Cecilia. And now we're 3v1 and we're completely full health. And we have a revive. And we're going to be able to take care of her pretty easily. So that's going to be it for the first fight. Let's just move right on to the second one and show what else she can do. Alright, so here's the second one. We've already, at this point, this is 2 days later. Same setup on the Sage, and same lead out. We started with the Flitica, and they decided to counter, instead with the Rin, they counter with Cerise and Oxlots, which means I'm just going to jump over into my double Cecilias again. He goes standard with the Cedom Spectre. Again, I'm going to go with the Sage. Eventually. I think I'm actually trying to explain to chat at this time what I'm going to do next. So there's the Sage. And then right away again with the Chloe. And pretty confident at this point. Um, he does go with the speed imprint, which is a little scary because now I'm worried that he might leave my Flitica in. Um, but I do have a revive, so I'm not overly worried. We still ban the strip because we don't want to get controlled. And he does leave the Litica in and bans the FCC this time, which is interesting. So this time we lose our Adamant Shield instead of our Aureus, but that's actually, I mean, other than the fact that he could outspeed us, it's not too bad. So we're hoping to go first, but he does have a big speed imprint and he's trying to cleave, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna outspeed us here. We do have a revive though, so if he kills the Flitica, we can bring her back right away and do whatever we gotta do. And then of course we have the Sage to go with the sleep. So he does get first turn, not by much, but he gets first turn. And he's got to make a decision on who he wants to kill here first and what his plan is kind of after that. Because he's kind of behind the 8 ball here with sort of a standard cleave here. So he decides to go into the Spectre with the intention of critting enough times to give Seedom a turn. He decides to go into Sage. There's attack number 1. Keep in mind he is on Proof of Valor, and we do have Aureus paired with him. That's why this isn't doing much damage. Attack number 2. And now, instead of burning into the Seedom, he knows he has to kill or else we're going to cut. So he goes in again with the 3rd attack. And now he's going to use skill 3. And he needs to kill here. Otherwise, the Seedom's not going to get a turn. And even if she does get a turn, she can't burn anymore. Turns out we survive with no HP, which is a beautiful thing because we can just go skill 3 straight into the full health Seedom. We are going to completely one-shot her. For 12.2k damage, we're going to silence his Vildred, and then we're just going to wait until he gives up. And on to the next one. All right, so this is going to be the last clip of today and the last clip for the Sage highlights. You can see at this point we are up to rank 6 in the world. We are champion. This was actually tonight. So there's only 5 people ahead of us right now, and things have been going really well. Preseason's been a lot of fun. It hasn't been nearly as toxic as the regular season. A lot less tanky. Maybe I'll make a video about that sometime in the future. But it's been a lot of fun. A lot more damage dealers in RTA, which has been nice. So we're rank 6. We match up against rank 93. Very interesting fight here. Very similar to the last one, but with a couple of very small differences. You remember last time he used his last set of souls instead of saving them for Seedom. This time he saves them for Seedom. And very, very interesting setup. So he pre-bans the Cerise. I stick with what I've been banning the whole preseason. And then he first picks Spectre. So first pick Spectre is a little odd because it gives me a lot of time to set up. I decided to go. We've been testing Landy a lot. So I decided to go with what I was going to go with if we were going to go Landy. I take the FCC and the Alencia. He goes with Oxalot's Flitica, and now we know exactly what he's doing. We're going to go with the exact same setup. No hesitation here. We'll go CC Ball and Maid. And I think I even said at the time that we can pretty much auto at this point. We already know exactly what's going to happen. He's stuck. He either can't kill Maid or he can't kill Sage. And then it's pretty much GG from that point. The only problem here is that we don't have a speed contest on this one. Normally, I like bringing that speed contest, whether it be Litica or Cerise or something like that. We just don't have it here. So it does leave him open to potentially banning the Sage if he wants to. But as we saw, we already had one person ban Aureus, the other person ban Adamant, and neither of those worked. And a lot of these people are stream sniping. I don't know if this guy was or not, but we go with the same setup. He goes with the Lulu. and we're good to go. We obviously ban the strip again. And this time he decides to ban the maid. So we get full damage reduction with him this time. So 3 different fights, all with the same setup and 3 different bans. And let's see what happens. So obviously he gets first turn because there was no speed contest. This time though he has the Lulu, so he is going to get second turn. He does though proceed to still boost the Spectre. And he has 4 mages this time, all with max book on them. So he has 80 souls. 2 of these attacks with attack buff. Here's attack number 3. He gets a team up from Lulu as well for another crit. And now he's deciding to save the remaining souls for Sedum, so he goes into his skill 3. So that's still 4 attacks, this time plus a team up, and this is the one where we didn't have max Proof of Valor. He's still not able to kill. We come in with our skill 3. We one-shot the Sedum for 12k. His entire team is silenced, and he's going to quit again. So that actually moved us up. We got another 8 points from that. And we ended up finishing the day today at rank 2 in the world using a whole bunch of different teams. It's actually a lot of fun. If you guys ever want to stop by stream, it is twitch.tv/5fingershuffle. I thought these were some really good showcases of Sage and kind of what he can do in your counter cleave setup if you are trying to build him or wondering if you should build him. Again, the stats are at the beginning of the video. Uh, Otherwise, that's going to be it for today. So I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you all next time. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. Bye for now.